Hey guys, I hope everybody is doing well tonight. We are just getting ready to get started. I am Chef Sherri. If you have not attended one of my events before, I live in the Colorado area. I have a line of sauces called Chef Sherri sauces, and tonight I am here to show you how to use one of my favorites, which is the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce. I use it for so many reasons. You can find a lot about it on the website, chefsherrisauces.com. This is the bottle of what it looks like, and tonight I'm going to be showing you 2 ways of how to make baked brie using this sauce. Super easy. So my hope for today is that the timeline will go like this. I'm going to show you how to make one of the baked bries, get it all put together within about 15 minutes or so, put the next one together in another, let's say, 8 to 10 minutes. Both of them will be in the oven while they finish cooking. Take some questions from you if you have any, and then pull them out from the oven and show you how they look so you can see just how easy it is. This is going to be a great video for you to come back to during the holidays, especially, or anytime you have a gathering, so you can see how to put it together. It's always a hit when I bring it places, and you'll see, again, it's a matter of a few ingredients. I've got them out here if you can't see. One of the dishes is going to use pecans. The other one is going to use sliced almonds. Of course, the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce that I mentioned. Got a little brown sugar, a little cinnamon, and of course the brie and some apple. So here's the start. We're going to start with our first rind of brie, and it is just an 8-ounce, 4-inch brie round. Now, a lot of people wonder what this white stuff on the outside of brie is. It's actually a mold. It's an okay mold to eat. They do it on purpose. It preserves the cheese. Some people like the taste of it, other people don't. And I particularly don't, especially when I'm doing something on the sweeter side of things. So I take my chef's knife and cut it off. Quick tip for you, when you hold a knife, you don't hold it by the handle. You hold it right here in front of the bolster. You want to get all of your power from that. Holding the handle gives you some guidance, but you want to make sure that you get most of your power and control from the pinch. So just put it on the side, just slight little scraping. Don't have to get all the way off, but I like to take most of it off. It's sacrilege to some people, I understand that, but it's my brie, so I do it my way. Do a quick little shading across the edges. I thought about having this done before the show, but so this way I'll teach you how to do it yourself. Again, just quick little shadings. The other thing is, it's a texture for some people because it gets to be, it's a little harder and a little chewier, and some people don't like that, especially with melted brie where it's going to be all ooey gooey. So you'll see I have everything set up ready to go. This is what's called just a discard bowl where you put all of your scraps into. And having everything set up ahead of time prior to cooking is really paramount because that lets you know if, oops, you forgot an ingredient, you have to run back out to the grocery store or not. It's called mise en place, which literally means mess in place. So we'll go over what I have set out here in just a second. But if you want to follow along with me at home and cook this as I cook mine, what you're going to need is an apple. I like red apple instead of the green apple for this, again, because I think the green apple is a little too tart. You'll see, like just thin layer that you take off for the brie. You're going to want some brown sugar. You're going to want some of my Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce. You're going to want some sliced almonds, a little cinnamon, and a little brown sugar. So here we go. First thing we're going to do, as I said, get most of that rind trimmed off. You can see how nice it is now. Then you're going to cut it in half. Easiest way to do it is just kind of start here and then slowly put a little bit of pressure because brie is soft. It doesn't take a lot, but it does get sticky, and you don't want to really squish it. So every now and then, get it a little bit lower, open it up, hold it from the side, push straight down, and then you'll have your 2 halves. Off they go. Perfect. All right, so our brie is ready to go. You're going to want to have a small dish to cook this in. I happened to find this at a store 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was, and it's just the perfect size when I make this baked brie. So I'm going to put half of it here, ready to go. You can see how nicely that fits. You want to make sure it's an oven-safe dish because we're going to be putting this in an oven at 350. Next up, we are going to take our mixing bowl. And in here, we're going to add a 1/4 cup, 2 ounces of the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of sliced almonds. So sliced are the very thin ones. Slivered are the ones that are more of a wedge shape. So sliced almonds is what we want. They go in here. And take a tablespoon of brown sugar and about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Get this all put off to the side for now because we need to get our apple ready to go. I like to reuse the same knife when possible. There's no reason I can't use this one here. So we're going to use about 1/2 of a red apple. And when you cut this apple, you're going to want to make sure that you get it into not just bite-sized pieces, but small pieces. Because again, people are going to be putting this on a cracker to eat, and you don't want them to have to really be chomping at the bit for it. So as you can see, I just cut these into roughly 1/4 inch wedges. And so I'm going to make everything as best I can about a 1/4 inch. And once I finish cutting them here, I'll show you just how it looks. And obviously, as you can see, when you deal with foods that can get slippery, it's much better to go slow and diligent than fast and careless, because not only will you not cut as nicely, you risk cutting yourself. And we're not out to win any awards at the emergency room today. So here is an example of just the size that you want it to be. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'm going to do that with this second apple as well. Take this first little bit, throw it into my bowl with the cinnamon and the cranberry fig sauce and all the other stuff. All right, second apple coming up. Again, you see I'm keeping my fingers away from the knife. I don't want to risk the knife sliding and me accidentally cutting myself. Now, you can always separate these and cut them individually if you want to. I'm just trying to be a little efficient with it. All right, get these guys lined up. This is a chef's knife that I'm using. If you're not familiar with knives, this is the biggest knife that you will have in your collection, usually, unless you have like a butcher's knife, which is usually not needed. But I find a great quality chef's knife to be the all-purpose knife. You'll see I'm going to use it for obviously cutting up the cheese, cutting up the apple. We're going to do a handful of other things with it as well. We're going to chop up some nuts. And could I use a paring knife or a utility knife to do those other tasks? Sure, but for now we're going to do this. All right, so you can see, got the apples in there. Around it goes. Just really want to mix it up so it's nice and thorough, because we are getting ready to pile this on. Oh God, this already smells so good. This really is one of my favorite dishes to make for parties. And there are times where I just am in the mood for some delicious baked brie for myself, and I'll throw this together. So, all right, can you see about how much we have there? Now all you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to scoop about half of the filling into the bowl. So it looks like this. Top it with that last piece of brie. Squish it down. Put the rest of the topping on top. That's it, guys. All you do now is you just put it in the oven. You can put it at 350. It's going to be in there for probably somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. I'll keep an eye on it to see how oozy goozy it gets. It's so good. And while this is cooking, we're going to get started on the next one. And I can see comments popping up here in the comment section. I can't read all of them right now, but I promise once I finish getting this next dish together and in the oven, I will pull up the comments and answer whatever questions you might have or comments. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there. So second one, just as easy. So I actually have this recipe on my website. The website, I have it as using crescent dough, which you'll roll out, you cut into squares, and then you'll put it into this little mini muffin pan. The other way to do it, which is even easier, is with these little mini phyllo dough shells. I don't know if you guys have tried them before, but they're fantastic. They're pre-cooked, ready to go. I took them out of the freezer, I don't know, a half hour or so ago, just put them in the oven. So look, there they are. And for this one, I'm going to set this off to the side for a second. I'm going to use pecans on this one. And even though I bought chopped pecans, you can see they're still fairly thick. And I thought about doing this before the show, but I figured I might as well use this chance to teach you. We're going to chop these up, and I'll show you the easiest way to do it. You put your knife down, you hold it down with the heel of your hand, right there in the palm, and you just make an arc like this. Just go in an arc shape, almost kind of like, the second hands of a clock. And that's all you do. And then just reposition your knife, go back. Because we want to make sure that these are very small so that they can fit into those shells and it won't be a massive bite when you bite into them. And you can see, right, with 20 seconds worth of effort. And now we've got these tiny little, oops, oh, my dogs will eat that, tiny little cuts of these nice pecans. So bringing our phyllo dough tray back, push this off to the side. I like to start with putting the phyllo dough in the bottom of it. The pecans at the bottom of it, simply because if we start with the Herbed Cranberry Fig dressing, it might get the bottoms a little too watery and not crisp up as well. And so I'll just take little pinches of these pecans, more of that one, throw it into the base of each shell. And within each shell, again, if you want to follow along at home or kind of envision yourself making this, within each shell, we're going to be putting these pecans. We're going to put a little bit of the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce. We're going to take this other bit of Brie that I have, and we're going to cut it up into small cubes. And then we are going to add maybe a cranberry or two. There we go. I think it looks good enough. And then throw it into the oven. So I'm going to scrape off of these pecans, save them for another dish. Sweet. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing to this Brie that we did last time. Take a little bit off. The key that makes it even easier actually is having this Brie at room temperature. It cuts much easier. Okay, there's that. And the sides look pretty good. I don't think I need anything off of those. Nice. All right, so for these, again, because the shells are small, we don't want to have too much going on within the shell. Otherwise, there won't be enough for all the ingredients. So you can see I'm going to take just very thin slices of Brie. I probably won't even use all of this, but that's how thin I'm going. And I'm just going to cut small chunks. And then add these little by little to our tray. I take probably 2 chunks or so per dough. Looks good as it is. And it's something like the more you do this, the more you'll get a feel for just visually what looks right to you. Same thing with like the consistency of the topping that was used for the round baked brie. You'll get to know, okay, is this a little too liquidy, is it a little too dry, and adjust your measurements accordingly. All right, so that got me about seven worth. So I need to do the same thing one more time. There we go. And for those that are watching me for the first time, this is the first time I've done a live show on my own. Usually I have the wonderful Kate Ekman with me to banter and talk with, and it's really kind of weird just being on my own. So sorry if I'm not engaging with you enough. I wish I could just read your chat or have you talk to me. Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe there's a way I can have you call in and we can just talk, because that would be so fun for me. So we are down. Last 4. Here we go. You know what I really like? I'd love for you to be here so you could actually try this food too. It is so good when it's done. And you know, sorry, not sorry that I'm the only one that's going to be eating it, but it would be fun. So open invitation, right? When you come to Colorado, shoot me a note. Maybe we can figure out how to cook together. In the meantime, though, you can see now I've got the pecans. I have the brie. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of, I'll probably put a cranberry or 2 in each one. And just, this is more for the texture. There's plenty of cranberry taste within the sauce itself. If you haven't tried the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce, it's so delicious. It runs this line between being savory and being sweet, because it's got this incredible balance of balsamic vinegar and herbs in the middle of it. But I think adding just a cranberry or 2 for each of these gives it a nice little chewiness as well. And you'll want to do it prior to the sauce, because if you put these right on top as they bake, there's a good chance the cranberries will burn. And obviously we don't want that. So just drop in a cranberry or 2 per. Wrong dish. Is it wrong if I do this? No, because it's going to be my brie anyway, so forgive me. Cranberry or 2 per. All right. And these will only be cooking for probably 8 to 10 minutes, because it's just enough to get these little bits of the brie to melt down. Now we come in with our cranberry fig sauce. I didn't even measure this out. I'd say this is maybe not even a 1/4 cup. And again, I'm just using a small spoon and just a small dollop in each of the tins. And once I finish putting this in here, I will show you how it all looks. And you only need a little, not just because of the size of the shells, but because all of my sauces, with them being focused on quality, you're going to have a lot of flavor in just the tiniest amount. In fact, when I give samples to people, it's maybe a 1/4 teaspoon usually, because if I do more than that, it's a lot to take on. You know, I'm running up here. I'm going to grab my other bottle. 1 second, please. And again, if you are not familiar with the sauces, they are all low salt, low sugar. They are all gluten-free, and they are all either vegan or vegan. This particular sauce is vegan, so there's no honey in this one. All right. Here is how it is looking so far. Hopefully you can see that. It looks amazing. Over here, you'll notice that I have rosemary. And this is fresh rosemary that we're actually going to put on top once it's done cooking. And I'll explain that why as soon as I put this in here. So this is going in the oven. Oh, the baked brie is coming together so nicely. Just set a timer. to check it after 8 minutes. So if I put the rosemary on it right now, what is likely to happen is that the rosemary itself would also burn. But a good note for cooking is that you should never have anything on your plate that somebody can't eat. You'll often see times that restaurants will add garnish to a dish that is something that's just put away, and you know, you have to discard it off the side of your plate. Don't do that to people. Whatever's on a plate should be edible. So I'm going to go ahead and strip off some of this rosemary. Just grab it firmly, pull down, leaves will come off. And I'm actually going to dice them up just a little bit because fresh rosemary is very potent. And if I give somebody an entire big sprig on its own, that'd be pretty overwhelming. Won't do that to people. Same thing we did with the nuts. Pull down the knife. Just go round and round till you're happy with how it looks. Perfect. Done. Okay. So you can see tiny little bits of fresh rosemary going to adorn the top of our baked brie. I call those baked brie bites. And again, this particular recipe is on the website, chefsherrisauces.com, SHERRI. Go to the recipes tab and you'll find it there. It says to use the crescent dough. I like using the phyllo dough today. It's just easier and fast, and I wanted to knock this out. So I think I can get on here and take a look at the chat. Maybe. Oh, I hate to stand right by my computer to see it. Oh, this is going to be icky. Oh, there we go. All right. And I can't read your comments. All right, I am going to try to, forgive me, I'm going to have to come up here right by the computer. Sorry, guys. Hi, everybody. Let me scroll up here in the chat and get to your comments. Let's see, what a cute setup. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, I love you too. Hi, Laura. So Vanessa asked how long I've been cooking. I actually started teaching myself to cook when I was in college. I didn't grow up cooking. My dad was either serving in the military or working for a government type agency, and my mom didn't really like to cook, so I had to start from scratch and taught myself little by little. Self-love endeavor. It's been 20 or 30 years now, and it took 10 years before it started feeling natural to me, and then it became fun. I see it as kind of a science experiment, and I love playing around with textures and flavors, and just find it to be really fun and relaxing. So thanks for asking. Let's see, it looks so healthy. It really is. And that's the great thing about when you use fresh ingredients and when you use sauces like mine that are low in sugar, low in salt, you don't have to feel bad about what you're putting into your body. You can say, hey, I can enjoy this little bit of an indulgence and feel good about it. Thank you for compliments on the setups. Thank you so much. I actually redid my kitchen myself 2 or 3 years ago. I had some help, obviously, with installing the countertops, but I redesigned everything to make it efficient, because truly, if you're not comfortable in your kitchen and you're not feeling good about the tools you have, you don't want to get in there and cook, and that defeats the purpose. So let's see. Yeah, I chopped my fingers a time or two. I have a great scar on, I think it's this finger. I made the mistake. Let me tell you, don't cut anything frozen. I was trying to cut a loaf of frozen bread, and the knife slipped and went right into my finger, and I had this, massive scar to remember. Never do that again. Where do I get my cheese from? Well, during the summertime, there's actually a guy at the farmers markets that I will get my cheese from. He brings in great quality imported stuff. Here locally in Colorado, I like going to Sam's Meats. He usually has a really good selection. The Brie that I'm using today, I just picked up at my local, regular King Supers or Safeway or wherever it was, but you can get them from, Whole Foods, Natural Grocers. I would say play around, finding what it is that you like the best. Brie is usually made from cow's milk, but you can also get it from goat's milk as well if you have a problem with cow's milk or if you're allergic to it. Thank you for saying I'm a natural. I appreciate that. I don't sell kitchenware, but I am happy to chat about what my favorites are if you would like some guidance. You can write me Sherri, Sherri, at chefsherrisauces.com. I'd be happy to chat with you about all of that. Let's see. Allergic to pecans. Okay. I was going to say, yeah, walnut is usually the next one that goes next. For this particular dish, hazelnuts would be delicious. If you can have hazelnuts, I would go that way. You want something on the more mellow spectrum. You could probably do like a Spanish peanut would be an interesting twist to it. Not a regular peanut. The Spanish ones have a nice kind of more robust, more earthy flavor to it, which I think would go really well. I'm so pretty. Oh, thanks so much. I'm standing here in front of this hot light and I'm like starting to sweat. So anyway, those are all the comments that I see so far. I really appreciate you guys writing in, and I'm going to actually go check and see how the baked brie is looking. The round, I think the smaller ones still have a few minutes. So let's go check this all out. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Yeah. Okay, well, since I've already been up close and personal with you guys, I'll just come back around. But I'm going to try to do this so I don't tip it all out. Can you see that? Can you see just the juicy goodness and how baked it is and how light brown everything is? Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. So I am going to show you just with a spoon. I have to grab my again. So you can see, look, can you see? Look how delicious that is. It is just ooey gooey melted goodness. And so when I serve this, I just put it directly out onto the table, and I will serve it with usually either crudité of like a toasted French bread or some rice crackers. You don't really want anything that's going to compete with the taste. If you want to do like a rosemary cracker or an herb cracker, that would probably go well. But I like to go for something either thin or something soft. So that's what this one, and yes, this will be probably a large part of my dinner tonight. Then we move this off to the side because we're getting ready for our little baked brie bites. Just right on time. I don't know if you can hear the alarm, but there it goes. Oh, so yummy. Yep, that looks good. That looks really, really good. So I am going to just smooth out that herb cranberry fig sauce. Oh, gracious me, does this look delicious? And just to be extra fancy, I think, in addition to, I'm going to sprinkle this little bit of the fresh rosemary. And look, how fun was this, guys? I mean, within 30 minutes, literally, it's been 30 minutes, you'll have put together 2 amazingly delicious dishes, perfect for the holidays, perfect for parties. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little extra pecan to it, just on top. And then I will scoop one out to bring to you and show you. Can you see this? Hopefully you can see it. I don't know. But it is fantastic. It is beautifully soft. The shell is crisp. The brie is melted. Put this on a plate, like a tiered plate would be stunning. I pretty much guarantee that you're not going to have any left over. Here they all are. How pretty is that? So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some tips and feel good about these dishes. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to write me at sherri@chefsherrisauces.com. You can pick up the Herbed Cranberry Fig sauce right there on the screen. You can also order it anytime you'd like online, chefsherrisauces.com. Check the channel. I've done a couple other videos with Kate, like I said, showing you a lot of different dishes using all 6 of the sauces. And I just appreciate you taking your time today to come here and be with me. Now you're going to see me one more time up close and personal as I come to finish the event. Thanks so much, guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I look forward to seeing you next time.